See, and I got to tell you, midway through the fourth quarter, I thought the tone of the open of this show would look one way, and it looks the exact opposite, as there is no way Gabe ever says nice things about this Cavs team again. A choke job to end all choke jobs. They couldn't even cover for you in overtime. Gabe, are you finally done with this Cleveland Cavalier team?
You know what, Kevin? A little disappointed because it was a historic night last night. We saw stuff happen on a basketball court that we never saw happen before. As the Toronto Tempo became the first expansion team ever with 2 players to score 30 points and hit 6 3-point shots. But history made, Kevin, back-to-back overtime games. First time ever in conference finals history that the first 2 games go to overtime in the East and the West like that. First time ever. Yeah. First time ever. And for those of you haters out there, well, I don't watch the NBA. The NBA isn't what it used to be. No, it's better than it used to be because these are the best playoffs ever. Like, these playoffs have been absolute fire, and, you know, just they keep delivering, right? It's just when you think, nah, this can't happen. And it does happen. But we need to thank Kenny Atkinson for letting this happen. And as far as the Cleveland Cavaliers are concerned, he did this against the Toronto Raptors a lot, where the Raptors would go on these big runs and it'd be like, oh, they're going to call a timeout. And he doesn't. And he said after the game last night, well, I like to have a timeout late. Well, you know what? You like to have a timeout late. Maybe it's good to have a timeout. Like, I saw it like when it was like an 8-1 run. Right? You know, it was one of those, yeah, listen, like Brunson scored, 6 points in a row type of deal. It was like, all right, listen, it just went from 23 to 16, 17, whatever. Let's hold on a second. Let's hold on. Yeah. And I would tell everybody, guys, stop turning the effing ball over. Like, if we don't turn the ball over, we win the game. Kevin, I saw a great graphic about last night's basketball game that if the Cleveland Cavaliers just would have taken a shot clock violation for the final 7 minutes of the game, they would have won the game. Like, if they would have dribbled, they just would have said, all right, your ball. Yeah. Like, they mathematically could not have lost the game. I don't blame James Harden. Very similar to you and I talking about putting, like, Caruso and Jalen Williams on Victor Wembanyama. Whatever, dude. You're gonna leave James Harden one-on-one with Brunson, like, over and over and over and over and over. Whose fault is that, Kevin? Whose fault is that? If you give keys to an automobile to a child and he gets into an accident, whose fault is it? Like, it's not Harden's fault.
No, I couldn't agree more. I think Harden should have, usually coaches throw players under the bus. Harden should have said, I'd like a chance at the podium tonight. I think Kenny's a moron. I told him to bench me. I don't know what's going on here. And
he's
by the way,
an offensive specialist. It's not even his thing. So it's like, why are you asking me to do it?
Yeah,
but also, let's put Harden on their best player.
They're setting screens. It's like everyone sets screens. Like, you have to have some type of fix. Gabe, you ever seen the meme that goes around? It's one of my favorites, where it says, quote from man stabbed, what are you going to do? Stab me? That was Kenny Atkinson's plan. He's like, what are they going to attack Harden every single play? Yes. That's exactly what they're going to do.
Tim Legendre was going to have a heart attack. He was going to have a heart attack. He goes, what are they doing? I go, they got to switch this up. He's like, and I'm like, no kidding. Just like an unbelievable collapse. And as you stated, somehow they don't cover the point spread. And I can't lie because you know how everything works. We're all honest here. Oh, I was so ready for the opening segment of this show. I was going to come out. I was like, oh,
I know.
Cavs. I was going to drop, I bet over 5.5. I'm worried the Cavs might win in 5.
There you go. As you should have been. Babe, I was thinking the same thing. I went, come on. I bet the Knicks to go undefeated at home in this series. We didn't make it at a game 1. This is a disaster. Like, was he right about Cleveland? Like, is this team good?
They look so good. They look so good.
This series is over. Come on.
Well, I don't see how Cleveland win the series now, but I still think I can get 2 out of this. I still think I can get. That's all I got to get. I got to get 2 out of this, Kevin. I bet over 5.5 games in the series.
Yeah. Hey,
I got to get 2 out of this. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm confident that Cavs. Listen, they were good enough to be up by 23. They were good. But with that being stated, let me just say, so they didn't cover, but. So, yeah, I don't win, all right, with the Cavs, Kevin, but you know how I roll. So I bet the over the game stubbornly, knowing that, this is a bad bet, but I'm going to do it anyways. So I'm betting the game before. I was thinking, not 113, 109 game. This gets to 222 or something. Click the over. Midway through, I'm like, there's no way in hell we don't get the 202. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Once again, Kevin, it's like the dramatic, oh, my God, it gets to 101. It goes to overtime. Yeah. And with so many hundreds of millions, of dollars and billions of dollars and, 45 million people betting on this stuff in America nightly, how many people had the under of back-to-back nights? That just are, close to, Brooklyn Bridge style right now.
They have no idea what to do.
And, guys, last night it went over by 1 point only.
Yeah.
1 point in overtime.
Oh,
one.
Yes, and by the way, the first game, Spurs Thunder, didn't even get over
overtime
in the first overtime. It didn't even get over in the first overtime. And this is the best part. Gabe, you love your totals. I like them as well. The books have kind of if you're an under better, this is the worst thing ever because the books are looking at the results and going, yeah, these are under series. You're getting worse numbers. If you want to try and get your money back.
Oh, tonight is tricky.
If these teams pick it up all of a sudden, Gabe, right? The Thunder are going to have a good night one of these games, right? The Cavs are going to have a good night.
What do you think I'm doing with this game tonight, Kevin? Going over or under?
Over.
These teams shot 43% in the last game, and they still and the same thing. They'll be it was tied 101 because I saw that. Well, it's like you said, it's 215.5. They're like, all right, we're going to lower this. What was it in game 1? 219.5. 219.5 in this series. It was a 221. What was it in game 1 of this series?
I think it did get all the way up to 221.5. It did go up throughout the day. It came back down. It was moving around, but all within that range. I think it cleared every. So
now
number,
you got a 215.5. Because, like you said, both games were going under the number without overtime.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the way they're looking at this. But I gotta believe that Oklahoma City Thunder are a lot better offensively tonight.
I don't disagree with that. I don't. And I think there's a part of me that's tempted by the over, right? But we also, Gabe, have talked a lot about OKC series rhythms. And if game 1 went San Antonio's way with an outright upset, this game tonight, guys, might not be as good as game number 1. This is usually, Gabe, OKC by 20. That's what we've come to know about the Thunder in the postseason.
We saw the Spurs take the pedal off the metal against the T-Wolves too, right? They did. There was that little blip, where it's hard to be this consistent every game. But I'll tell you what, imagine San Antonio wins tonight. How the hell does Oklahoma City come back? Even though they're the mighty Oklahoma City Thunder,
right?
Dude, you've lost 5 of the 6 times when you played this year. If this was a playoff series this year, you're already eliminated. Against the Spurs. Put it out Kevin, you know what I mean? You're giving bonus games here, all right? So it's almost like a series after when people complain, it's not our boy Sammy Arnall, he's taking it like a man. But I see a lot of Sabre fans crying online, oh, it was unfair and stuff. And if we played this series 10 times, yeah, whatever, dude. If you play 10 times, you lose in overtime 10 times. You're Buffalo. Let's be real. But this is one of these, type of deals where you really will get 10 cracks at it. And it might be a spot where it's San Antonio beat them 9 out of 10 times. San Antonio might just own these guys. Oklahoma City need to win this game tonight. And Chet Holmgren better not punk out.
We will get to all the player props tonight. I think there are a lot of fun options to break down right here on Game Time Decisions. All right, back with you guys here on a Wednesday night. Thunder Spurs game 2. A lot of anticipation. One thing that is a little bit interesting, we really don't have the Aaron Fox updates that I wish we did. Again, the surprise absence in game number 1, obviously.
Yeah, it caught me off guard. Dr. Morency, Dr. Morency's not a doctor, but I saw ER on television once. The sound was down. I got the gist of it, but I don't think he's playing. Just personally, from what I feel. Plus, they stole the game already, right? The Spurs always do err on the side of caution, too. They just do, like when it comes to injuries. And Harper's playing so well.
Right,
and Harper's playing so well.
Yeah, I tend to agree, Gabe. So I don't expect Fox to play. Sportsbooks are posting his numbers, though. Now, they're not posting his numbers and giving you a discount on Harper or Castle. Like, Fox, Gabe, has a 12.5 points prop. I almost think you could argue, I'm going to bet that over because if he's playing, he's hitting it. And if he's not playing, I'll get my money back kind of thing. Like, I think you could justifiably play Fox. But I am on Oklahoma City in this spot. This, to me, is one where the scales on a lot of different elements of game number 1 should swing back towards Oklahoma City. And maybe the easiest one for everybody to understand is the gap in which Shea was outplayed by Victor Wembanyama. I think Shea, at minimum, will be as good as Wemby in this game. Wemby comes down, Shea goes up, and that enough, I think, can turn this into a Thunder 10-point victory here. So I laid the 6.5. It's up to 7.5. I do think they win this game by 15 plus. I think this is the typical Thunder route and roll spot game that we're so accustomed to.
I do agree, win or lose, SGA he's not playing around tonight. He's not playing around tonight. Like, he's going to bring it. And it's interesting because his player prop is 28.5, but to score 30 or more is plus 115. So how do we not go that route? Mm-hmm. Dude, he had 24 the other night in a quote-unquote bad night. I also really like what Jalen Williams has brought to the table. And let's be real, Chet Holmgren is kind of, shrinking in this spotlight. He doesn't play well against the Spurs. Williams is back right now, and I think people forget about just how good he is. And his prop is 17.5, Kevin, a more than manageable number. And that's even with SGA going off tonight. I think, listen, and we saw it, and can you believe it last night, Kevin? So I talked about liking the Cavs in the first quarter. Of course, the Knicks win the first quarter, then the Cavs did pull away after it ended up blowing it. But we did see the Knicks were kind of rusty from 3 early, right? It was like 2 for 20 or whatnot. People are going to wonder about this with the Colorado Avalanche tonight, who haven't, haven't played in a while. Carolina Hurricanes tomorrow, and the Oklahoma City Thunder too, Kevin. Right? They didn't play in a while. So was it a shock that they were kind of slow out of the gate and the Spurs are rolling right now? And plus, we didn't realize that Victor Wembanyama is the power of the Tibetan monks and stuff behind him as well. This guy's like Batman. Like, he's like training in the off season, like the mountains with monks and like
he is
meditating how to win. And this guy's just next level. But I am fascinated to see that you're saying, I'm going to lay the points tonight, because I laid the points in the first game and I'm scared tonight. I'm like, I just can't. I don't like betting against the Spurs. I did it in game 1. I got cute. I do like the over, and I can't help but think, you know what? I'm going to keep this simple. I'm going to go square tonight, Kevin. Oklahoma City to win. SGA, 25 or more. Wemby, 10 or more rebounds type of deal. I think this is a good same game parlay opportunity prop game tonight.
Yeah, I think that is totally reasonable here. I think Shea, does bring a high floor into this basketball game tonight. Wemby, the rebound, 24 rebounds in game 1, 9 offensive. Really, the only thing that worries me with some numbers is, and you'll notice this within the 2 props that I'm playing tonight, is trying to stay blowout safe. And it worked last night, so comparable spots tonight. Firstly, I like Lou Dort over 5.5 points. You can get even money for 2 made threes. And yes, that is very likely the avenue in which Lou Dort scores 6. But if I get a layup, if I get a trip to the line, I'll pay the minus 128 to bring that into the fold here. Lou Dort's in a really nice bounce back spot, okay? Only went 1 of 5 in that opening game. I think Lou Dort at home has a really good game here. Doesn't surprise me if he makes 3 of these. Doesn't surprise me if he wins this bet in the first quarter. And then I think A.J. Mitchell bounces back and goes over 10.5 points. A.J. Mitchell in game number 1 did play 34 minutes. I understand overtime inflates that, but that tells me A.J. Mitchell is still a 25-minute kind of guy. And he is someone who looked in the deeper waters, right, as he is now playing in the biggest game of his life in game number 1, that Western Conference Finals. I think he gets a little bit more comfortable as things go on here. So, Gabe, I'm on Dort's 5.5 points and A.J. Mitchell's 10.5 points.
I lost with Mitchell 11.5, 12.5 in game 1. Disappointing effort from him, or game. He was just a little bit overwhelmed, never really got going. But I don't disagree with him getting back on track. Listen, I just sort of started to click around here, and these are like alt lines. So how about this, Kevin? What do you think of this? SGA to score over 23.5 points. So 24 more points for SGA. For the record, he scored 24 in the first game. And Oklahoma City to win the game minus 150.
Yeah.
It's not bad. To me, that's not bad. Because Oklahoma City are minus 260 on the money line. So I'm actually getting, I'm taking $1 off here. So I'm not like, there's actually significant move from the money line. Takes the point spread out of the equation. Yeah. And Kevin's worried about a blowout, but I'm not. I think maybe it's a blowout, but San Antonio don't really.
Gabe.
Yeah, numbers can get there, and Wemby can still get there with his rebounds as well. So they did move it to 12.5, from 12.5 to 13.5. You can bet the over 12.5 at minus 180, but look at here's what. So Wembanyama over 13.5 rebounds, Oklahoma City to win, and SGA over 23.5 points, plus 230. So I'm just going to put a bunch of these together at plus money, and I'll win more of them than I'm going to lose. Last night I ran the table with them. I put 3 late same-game parlays together, just all the player props I like, and I actually went 3-0 with them.
Yeah, well, Brunson was great. Donovan was great. Cat rebounds,
Mobley.
sure. Yeah, Mobley got through a lot of those numbers.
Robinson. I played a Robinson prop over 5.5 rebounds. And
I'll just add this quickly, Gabe, before we get to Craig. But last year, right, we mentioned the Game 2 blowout. So they beat Denver by 43 points. SGA scored 34, right? Game number 2, they beat Indiana by 16 points. SGA scored 34.
Oh, yeah. SGA, he knows about Wemby staring him down in the whole MVP thing. Forget about Holmgren. This is SGA's time to bring it back at him, like you said earlier.
Wemby having a rivalry with like 4 different Thunder is also pretty good. We'll talk to Craig next.
Can't alienate your fan base. That's the problem. You got to show your fan base that you're still trying to win, and you want to sell tickets in the summertime. You don't want to go into mid-May and say, all right, we're 15 games out, but it's still only early May. No, fans will stay away. So you don't have the luxury anymore of just waiting. So someone's got to get fired. Nope. One of these teams is going to fire someone by the end of the month.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I thought the Jets would have pulled the Ty Simpson move. I was desperately worried that was what they were going to do. But instead, they ended up getting it right with Bailey. And so did, by the way, the prediction markets, because we saw all that money come in for Bailey. It's kind of funny because all it is, and then you forget. Who did Arizona go with? I mean, Arizona went with a running back.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're seeing as sports betting is continuing to rise, that some of the potential issues around it are rising too, and these companies are having to deal with that. You have several lawmakers have introduced bills across states in Congress to potentially curb some of the problematic activity. In some cases, like in Ohio, we talked about last week, we potentially end online sports betting.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
It's a 7-game sprint with a whole lot of volatility, right? You don't want the best team, so to speak, Donnie. You want the team that has a favorable group stage, weaker knockout path, and has some penalty variance coming their way here. Because this is all about the path to the final, Donnie. It's not about the best team, because the best team can get knocked out.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on Sport.
Game time decisions on SportsGrid. We're now joined by Craig Mish, host of Newswire, right here on SportsGrid Monday through Friday. Pro baseball today on the weekends with Donnie Rightside. And Craig, we take a look around Major League Baseball right now, and we're still early. We're not super early. Things are starting to stabilize. We talk a lot about believing what teams are telling us, right? There's also maybe hitters, right? How real is X, Y, or Z? There are two guys on the Miami Marlins who you obviously cover closely that when you look at the top of the leaderboards, their names show up. Liam Hicks tied for that RBI lead. And then you've got Otto Lopez, who looks like he could contend for a batting title here. Watching these guys every single day, every pretty much plate appearance, how real does it all feel from those two guys?
They've really, both of those guys have had a good approach. I would tell you that the bigger surprise of all of them, Kevin, honestly, has been Xavier Edwards, who has 6 home runs this season. And if you add all of his home runs over the course of his major league career and high school career, I don't know that you would get to 6. I mean, it has been shocking to see. I mean, he's hit home runs back-to-back nights. I mean, I'm going to be at the game tonight. I wonder if he'll do it again. Look, I think that you have to expect a little bit of regression for those three. I mean, offensively, they have carried the Marlins all season long. But, I mean, maybe it is a career year, potentially, for all three guys, at least thus far through where we are heading to Memorial Day. I would say that it looks legitimate, but to think that Lopez is going to hit 350 and Xavier Edwards is going to hit 25 home runs. Like, I just never would have thought that at the beginning of the season. And if Hicks only drives in 20 runs the rest of the way, it's still phenomenal for him. He's already got 40-something RBIs. Crazy.
Yeah, it's really, really impressive. Another guy who more familiar with his status on this leaderboard is Kyle Schwarber, who is starting to create some separation when we talk about a home run crown. And sitting at 20, I will say there was an element of the Schwarber contract, Craig, that made me a bit squeamish. Like, a guy who hits 240 in a career year is like, but obviously the home runs are incredibly valuable. And this year, while only batting 230, he has been as big a reason as any for this Donnie baseball turnaround over the last 2 weeks. The home runs are there, hitting Kyle Schwarber's hitting like 275, which for him might as well be about 600. Craig, the Schwarber stuff's been impressive.
Yeah, he was hitting 190 just a few weeks ago. So, I mean, that just tells you that. And look, he could chase down this home run title. And look, the one opportunity that I have is sometimes after the Marlins games are over, or even the next day, is start, going back and looking at some of the condensed games so I can watch that. It looks like Judge is not seeing a lot of pitches anymore. It seems like they are starting to pivot off throwing strikes to this guy. And if that's the case, maybe that's the path to Schwarber having the home run title this season. It certainly could happen. It seems possible, but that's another part of recognizing what's going on in the year as you get to May and start saying to yourself, okay, look, we know the players that could beat us. Why are we pitching to those players? Just a big part of the cat and mouse game that goes on in baseball.
In just, Craig, for people who are curious, right? You've obviously, the game very well. Let's say that's the Yankees read as well. Our guy's not getting any real pitches to hit. What can they do to try and change that? Is there anything they can really do to try and change that?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Bellinger, you kind of know who he is. I think the Jazz would be the one that you could back him up with against right-handed pitching that could change things a little bit. You'd be nervous as a righty to pitch to Jazz as a lefty. Lefty, I don't think Jazz is ever going to be fantastic. But that would be the dangerous name. But at this point, they have those two guys. They have Judge, they have Rice. But if they can find that third piece, I think, to go behind him, I think that is where it would make a difference. But the Yankees are not unlike a lot of other teams, is when there's a lefty involved, immediately, okay, is Rice playing? Where is he going to play? Is Jazz, we know Jazz is going to play, but he's going to bat probably at the bottom of the lineup. So that's kind of where the dynamic changes. Major League Baseball teams, just in general, Kevin, it's funny, they're just not equipped to face lefties because their best hitters are usually lefties. The Yankees are fortunate that their best guy is a righty.
One other quickly thing, just going off of Judge, Ohtani gets the baseball tonight. And I think if he goes as long as he has been going, he can, again, it'll be for a very brief amount of time, but he can briefly qualify for the ERA leaderboard and has an opportunity to sit atop that leaderboard, Craig, here, depending on what he is able to put forward against San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this. I still think that there's value on his like 6-1 or 7-1, whatever he is. And also now that these prediction markets are out there and available in a lot of these states, I mean, to me, that's where you can get that figured out. You know, like you could get him now. He ends up, getting close to second or first. You could cash out at that point. I told you from the beginning, this is obviously what he wants to do with everything else that's going on. This guy wants to win the Cy Young this season. There's no doubt.
Yeah, and he is starting to get the hitting back to the standard he wanted to as well. Craig, we appreciate it. As always, catch Craig on Newswire right here on SportsGrid. We'll be right back with more game time decisions.
Can't alienate your fan base. That's the problem. You got to show your fan base that you're still trying to win, and you want to sell tickets in the summertime. You don't want to go into mid-May and say, all right, we're 15 games out, but it's still only early May. No, fans will stay away. So you don't have the luxury anymore of just waiting. So someone's got to get fired. One of these teams is going to fire someone by the end of the month.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I thought the Jets would have pulled the Ty Simpson move. I was desperately worried that was what they were going to do. But instead, they ended up getting it right with Bailey. And so did, by the way, the prediction markets, because we saw all that money come in for Bailey. It's kind of funny because all it is, and then you forget. Who did Arizona go with? I mean, Arizona went with a running back.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're seeing, as sports betting is continuing to rise, that some of the potential issues around it are rising too, and these companies are having to deal with that. You have several lawmakers have introduced bills across states in Congress to potentially curb some of the problematic activity. In some cases, like in Ohio, we talked about last week, to potentially end online sports betting.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
It's a 7-game sprint with a whole lot of volatility, right? You don't want the best team, so to speak, Donnie. You want the team that has a favorable group stage, weaker knockout path, and has some penalty variance coming their way here. Because this is all about the path to the final, Donnie. It's not about the best team, because the best team can get knocked out.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on Sports.
All right, guys, we're going to sneak over to the baseball board quickly here because there are two big favorites. Call it chalky. That's okay. That I really like, but because they're big favorites, you have to be smart about how you do it. So, Gabe, I'm doing what I'm sure a lot of baseball bettors are, or I guess maybe a casual baseball bettor. If that's what I am, then so be it. I think I'm more than that. Nevertheless, I took the Braves and the Dodgers in a moneyline parlay. Plus 137. I like Sale tonight even more than I like Ohtani. Like, I was going to lay the run line with each team, and it's like, let the chips fall where they may. But the total's so low in Dodgers-Padres that Vasquez is getting enough respect that I'm just going to play the straight-up moneyline parlay for Atlanta and L.A. tonight here on this baseball board. Braves-Marlins is coming up in 10 minutes.
You know what? I can't disagree. I like the Braves in game one, and we know what happened. I lost 12-0. I almost have to come back with Chris Sale tonight. The Dodgers, number one, let me just say this, and I threw this out there online last night. I think this is the best series in the history of baseball in the month of May. You know what I mean? Like, when has there ever been a series like this in the month of May before? Like, if you tune into this, it's literally like it's like the wild card series or something. It's like the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, he's safe, and Joe Davis going crazy, and like, we had a 1-0 game in the first game, guys. A 1-0 gem, just like one of these like beautifully played baseball games, great pitchers, guys getting thrown out and stuff. Defense, like, I know it's a foreign concept to Yankee fans and American League softball fans, but we play defense in the National League. And,
is that the National League's angle now? Now that you don't have pitchers hitting anymore, which was a disgrace to the game, you pretend you're the only league that plays defense? That's cute. That's
Well,
outrageous.
the DH was a disgrace. But I'll put it this way.
The best defender in baseball is in the American League.
I would die on the hill that the DH sucks in the National League if Shohei Ohtani wasn't on the Dodgers and my DH. Right. Yeah. So I learned to live with it, but I don't like it. No, I believe pitchers should hit, Kevin, but that's another debate. But great baseball. So we had a 1-0 game, a 5-4 game, a play at the plate last night with the go-ahead run to make it 5-4. All kinds of drama in the stadium. Now you got Ohtani going against Vasquez tonight. Guys, this is as good as it gets. But the only thing is, they never win when Ohtani pitches, and they never give him any run support, Kevin. So, to me, the safest bet is always, the team total under the other team and his strikeout prop more so than him winning. I've learned the hard way.
Right. I think tonight, though, is a good spot for him. I wouldn't be surprised if Vasquez gets hit. I think he's not as good as he has been pitching up until this point in the season. The other thing quickly, and listen, I know they can't do it this way. I like Mason Miller a lot, for the record. He's obviously awesome. It does feel a little dirty pool that he doesn't get an earned run because he's the one who committed the error. He that does feel like cheating almost. I know it's not. Listen, I'm sure it's not like Miller's happier about it, but it does keep that ERA nice and shiny, Gabe, at a .79 for Mason Miller
it's
this
a fair
year.
point.
Did take the loss.
Sounds like you sound like a Dodger fan. That's very petty. I like that you're. I like you bring it up. And I'm just putting the play in. You talked about the Dodgers and the Atlanta Braves. I thought you were going to go this route, and let's just get a head start on it. Atlanta Braves, Oklahoma City Thunder money line +113. Yeah. What I like about this play, guys, is we have an hour and a half buffer here. We should know, unless it's a tie game with the Braves, but we'll know going into the Oklahoma City game where we can adjust, a bet again. But I wouldn't mind getting a head start on this, Kevin, and having the Thunder +113 in my back pocket.
It's funny. That is really, really smart. That's the kind of thing, I start to change things for me a little bit. I'm almost now wishing that that's exactly how I played it. Instead of even bothering with playing the Dodgers and the Braves together, just play them each individually with Oklahoma City. Yeah. And not even, you know what I mean? If I split, I split.
And I'm a
if
DJ,
I sweep,
Kevin.
I sweep. Yeah.
And I'm thinking by the hour here, I'm the Dodgers isn't until 10 o'clock Eastern. This is at 8:30. Mm-hmm. So, the Braves is now right into the basketball game, 2 hours, boom. And then I'll worry about the Dodger bet later.
Yeah, I actually really like it.
Or Oklahoma City and the Dodgers again. You can double down and have 2+ money parlays, right?
Right. I used you'll like this game. They give the profit boost, and this is what you talk about. I can't give out every pick. And obviously that's, of course true. But I took a really, it was both Braves and Dodgers on the run line with Sale and Ohtani each for 6 strikeouts, which I think got it up to 5-1 kind of thing. Right, Gabe? So just trying to find different ways to back these two big favorites here on a night like this. It's actually, and this sometimes happens, these things sync up where you have all the aces going, right? You have Schlittler going tonight for the Yankees in a pretty big spot here. This is 2 straight games in this series where it looked like Toronto was going to knock off New York, get a little momentum, and the games are, in control for New York. 9th inning, Blue Jays are threatening. They've scored in the top of the 9th to make it a 1-run game in each of the first 2 games of this series. And all of a sudden now Toronto is staring down the barrel of being swept. I'm not saying it's going to, end their season. There is a game on Thursday. I'm not saying it's going to end their season, but it's got to get frustrating at some point for this Blue Jays team, Gabe. They are supposed to be a lot better than this, health or not.
A big difference is 1-run games. They're now 4-10 in 1-run games this year.
Wow.
It's not good enough. Last year, they were 27-20 in 1-run games. Guess
who's 9-1 in 1-run games? The Tampa Bay Rays. 9-1 in 1-run games, Tampa Bay.
And some people will say, the baseball nerds and geeks will say that can't continue. And there's, the probability of this, and there's going to be a regression coming. Mm-hmm. I find that oftentimes there isn't, Kevin. You know what it is? It's, I'll put it in NFL terms, guys. You know what I mean, Kevin? There's a lot of times there's a year where one team just like, halfway through the year, you're like, yeah, they're really not that good. They're 6-2. Yeah, because they create all these turnovers. And people are like, yeah, it's kind of random and it's not going to continue. Yeah, it kind of does continue. And then the next year, you'll see this. Like the Kansas City Royals won the World Series like that, right? Dude, their 1-1 record, like when they won the World Series, was incredible. The next year, it wasn't. The Seattle Mariners are very like that. Let's look at the Mariners. What's the Mariners' 1-run record this year compared to last year? I guarantee, look at the difference.
6-12
the Mariners don't win
this year.
There we go. They don't win close games. Last year, they did.
31-22 last year.
Bingo. I know it sounds simplistic, Kevin, but it really is pretty wild. Like when you look at the one-run game stuff. Because, the Jays keep losing by 1 all the time. It's like, you can't. There's no excuses. Well, you lose by 11, you lose by 1, but there's a fine line between winning and losing in professional sports, and you get in this one-run game stuff. The Blue Jays aren't alone. The Mariners live this a lot, too, over the years, like the Royals of the world. But, the Blue Jays have big problems right now. I can't dispute it.
Yeah,
I don't trust them tonight. Like, against Schindler. I have a hard time trusting them.
Yeah. I'll just throw something at you, Gabe. ESPN on there, because that's how I'm getting the one-run records. It has expected win-loss. And a lot of these are like the same, right? The Royals are 20-29. They say they should be 21-28, right? I'm not saying make a big thing out of it. There's 2 things that stood out to me, I swear to you. The first is 35-15 Tampa. They say should be 28-20, which feels a lot more reasonable. Here's the thing I didn't expect. It says the Dodgers, Gabe, who are 30-19, which is obviously very good, should be 35-14. Like the Dodgers are supposed to actually be 20 games over already.
And you can blame the offense.
The numbers are.
You can blame the offense because of it. They haven't been hitting.
Mm-hmm.
Just point blank. They've been pitching well. They haven't been hitting. You know what I mean? Like so the win expectancy rate should be higher when you consider how good the starting pitching has been for the most part.
Yeah, we'll see what Ohtani has tonight, who, by the way, since he's gotten it going again at the plate, is approaching minus 500 on that MVP price that we had talked about a couple of weeks ago. If you remember, Gabe said he didn't think Ohtani was a real MVP candidate. I thought that was crazy at the time.
Just calling it like it was. Well, he wasn't like the MVP at the time.
All right, Game Time Decisions. We are here on a Wednesday night. We are now joined by Paul Bovey, who has been helping us out throughout the NBA postseason. We're going to get to Thunder Spurs in just a moment. But, Paul, we got to start with the New York Knicks in a win that a lot of Knicks fans I'm noticing are comparing to last year's loss to the Indiana Pacers, feeling as if this really is showing this is their year. Maybe not to win it all, but to finally break through and get back to an NBA championship. Give me your perspective on watching Knicks Cavs game 1.
That, Kevin, because that's the first thing that I was actually thinking of. We all remember that heartbreak last year, and clearly it cost us the series. So here we are now, and you got to figure they've taken some of the steam out of the Cavaliers, who apparently or seemingly had that game in hand with a 22-point lead and somehow managed to let it slip away. So I'm stoked. In addition to being a fan, I have a financial interest in this one, both for the Eastern Conference and in the series, which part and parcel they would cash one and the same. So it was incredible. I wish I was there. I wasn't. But I took it all in and really, really enjoyed it. Let's put it that way.
I can't help but notice the similarities between him and Kenny Atkinson, Kevin. I feel like we're talking to Kenny Atkinson right now. You look like a basketball coach joining us right now, Paul.
I don't think you'd
Why
be
didn't
as
you
nice
call a
Gabe,
timeout,
if it was
Kenny?
Kenny Atkinson. I was just going to say, Gabe wouldn't be
Why
as
didn't
nice
you
as
call
Kenny
a timeout?
Atkinson joining the show.
Come on, an 18-1 run. But listen, let's not live in the past too much. It was an epic game. 2 games in a row, Paul, going to overtime. First time ever in conference finals history that the first 2 games of the series is go over the number or go to overtime, and they both go over because of the overtime. But what about tonight? What do you think about tonight with the Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs?
So I worry about fatigue, especially if Fox doesn't play. You had 5 guys log 44 minutes. And also, there could be an emotional letdown, no doubt, for San Antonio. But I can't see any path where it would be prudent to lay 7 points tonight. This team, put it this way, San Antonio, were they ever trailing by 3, or did they ever have a lead of less than 3? No. They didn't. Clearly, they were dominating the game throughout. They dominated the regular season when these 2 teams played head-to-head 4 out of 5 games, although one was the throwaway when OKC sat their star players. So I can't lay 7 points. I feel as though San Antonio has the better team here and will eventually prevail in the series. If I were playing the game, I might look to OKC's team total under in the first half, because San Antonio could conceivably wear down and kind of throw in the towel if they get down, knowing that they have a game in hand. But they've been solid defensively against this team all year long. I think OKC has only cracked 110 one time, and that was when they shot the lights out and scored 119, I believe it is. But basically, they've done a number on them defensively, and I'm leaning to a prop here, not playing either side.
What's that prop, Paul, that's catching your attention?
So I can't explain this, but Isaiah Hartenstein only logged 12 minutes in the first game. He had 2 rebounds. It made no sense to me, because throughout the course of the season, when they played 3 games, 70 minutes, 29 rebounds, he scored, and his plus minus was -17. And the 3 games he played, they were a -31 collectively. So it wasn't him. And I think he could do a better job than Chet, who basically wilted last game. And I have to feel as though he's going to get more play here. His rebound total in game 1 was 8.5. He's down to 4.5 plus money. And I'm wondering, what do they know that I don't know? Because it makes no sense unless they know he's not going to get the minutes. And I just can't put two together here.
Yeah, I'll just jump in quickly. And I'm not saying, Paul, I think you might have a phenomenal bet and look here because to some degree, OKC may feel some things they did in game one did not work, but clearly Hartenstein lost his spot in the rotation. He didn't start the second half of that basketball game. So it wouldn't stun me if Hartenstein doesn't get a start tonight. Remember, Dagnall was changing his starting lineup in the finals last year. Like, he's not scared to move off of things. He might be wrong in doing so, Paul. That, I think, is why it's adjusted. But it's also incredibly fair to feel like the books have over-adjusted. And if Hartenstein goes up to 20 minutes, you've probably got a really nice piece of value on that rebound prop.
And Paul, they can't put Caruso. They can't let Caruso on Wemby alone like the other night. That was just ridiculous. And even Jalen Williams alone on Wemby, with Chet Holmgren sort of just watching it happen. You need Hartenstein on the floor. I don't understand it. Even if he fouls out, waste the damn fouls. I don't get it, Paul, why he wasn't on the floor more either.
Kevin, you drive home a great point here because it's all about the minutes. Last night, I'm thrilled with the outcome, except for Mitch Robinson, because I played him over 6.5 rebounds. And prior to the game, I told an associate of mine, we need 18 minutes here, and this cash is easy. I got 6.5. I laid 150. And lo and behold, of course, the free throws, and Mike Brown pulls them, third quarter, never gets back into the game. So it's all about the minutes with these guys. And if he gets 20 minutes, he's going to sky this number, no problem. Because if you look at the math breakdown on that on the season, 29-70, it suggests he's scoring a rebound, 1.45 every 2 minutes. That's going to be plenty.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun follow to watch the adjustments throughout this series, Paul. I think it's a really fun look. It's one that we will certainly be tracking here. Best of luck to you. Myself and Gabe are going to come right back after a quick break, get you all of the best bets. It's a busy night. I don't even think we've mentioned Avs Knights yet. We'll make sure we get to it on the other side of this break. All right, guys, back at the right here on a Wednesday night. Let's start in Colorado. The Avs and the Golden Knights begin the Western Conference Finals. Colorado, of course, booked as favorites, not just in Game 1, but in this series, minus 172 to win this opening game. 6.5 is your listed total. Gabe, what are you doing with the opener here between the Avs and the Golden Knights?
I'll tell you what, this series is going to be a lot harder than people are thinking. If they think this is going to be an easy series for the Colorado Avalanche, it won't be. The Vegas Golden Knights have a bunch of Stanley Cup champion, gold medal winners on their team. They're not an easy team to play against. Now, if they had Mark Stone, Mark Stone's injured, it's a big loss for them. But big news, not only is Caitlin Clark out tonight, guys, for the Indiana Fever, and Kelsey Mitchell's player prop up to 24.5 right now, but Cale Makar is out for the Colorado Avalanche tonight. And Cale Makar is a top 5 player in the National Hockey League. Like, literally not an exaggeration. You can say top 3, whatever, debatable. Like, he's the best defenseman in the NHL, right? And so he's the second, him and Nate McKinnon are that team. They are deep, though. But Cale Makar's not playing tonight, so we're just going to throw that out there. We're going to take the Vegas Golden Knights in the first period, plus half a puck. I think Vegas, Colorado haven't played in a while. I think Vegas is going to surprise them early. And I also like over 1.5 in the first period. And if I lose the plus half a goal with Vegas in the first, it's because Colorado's up 2-3 nothing or something like that. So it'll even out. But I'm going right back to the window. I've been doing it pretty much every night in the playoffs. Wembanyama, we have been doing it every night. Wembanyama over 12.5 rebounds. Give me SGA to score 30 or more at plus 115. Let's go with Dylan Harper over the 12.5. We talked about the Knights in the first period, plus half a puck, and the Knights Avs over 1.5. And I will take Kelsey Mitchell, even though it's pricey, Kevin, tonight, over 24.5. We've been doing well in the WNBA this year. And I'll tell you what, this is a spot where the Connecticut Sun can win this basketball game tonight. They're terrible, but Seattle are really, really beat up as well. I think it's a winnable game for Connecticut. I think it's a winnable game for Dallas on the road, Kevin, tonight, too.
Yeah, the wings spot is tricky. Rakia Jackson just tore her ACL.
Jackson's out. Yeah, she's out for this guy now.
Yeah, which is a real shame. That didn't
and Malonga's out for Seattle.
Yeah, concussion, which is a shame. She was getting off to a really nice start. Awa Pham still has not debuted for the Storm. But I did play Camila Cardoza over 10.5 rebounds, excuse me. Cardoza is a rebounding machine. The minutes have not been amazing to the degree that you would think for like a potential franchise cornerstone. Some of that's blowout. Some of that is maybe this is where Cardoza settles in. But with Rakia out, more opportunities from a rebounding end of it, as well as a potential minutes perspective, I think make Cardoza a really tempting play on that WNBA slate. As far as things go with Major League Baseball, we've talked about it, the Dodgers and the Braves. I did not play, but I did think both the Angels and Cardinals were tempting tonight. If you were looking for a couple of other money line looks there. Again, I didn't play them, but you cap the whole board, you take a look at it. And then the NBA, as we've discussed here, which is where a lot of my focus will be. As you guys know, I'm going to lay the 6.5 with Oklahoma City. This is a Thunder spot. We all know it really well. You pick your head up. What's more surprising? My opinion, OKC by 20, Spurs win. Spurs win. It really would be. This is who the Thunder are. It's who they've been during this run, with the championship, even going back to the season prior to winning that title. And I think that means a couple of their player props are light here tonight. AJ Mitchell over the 10.5, Lou Dort over the 5.5 points. Behind the scenes, Gabe, let's see what stands out to you from our crew here on this Wednesday night. Jackson Chourio, 2+ hit run RBI for Chris. Chet Holmgren under the 13.5 points for Sam. And then that Angels money line ticket for AJ here for a best bet on this Wednesday.
All interesting plays tonight. Chet Holmgren under 13.5. He's going to have his hands full defensively, so I do like that one. That one catches my eye. And like you said, the Caitlin Clark stuff being out, the numbers are all flying around in that game. Can Indiana actually win a game, Kevin? This Portland team's giving up like 94 points a game. So I still kind of like the over, even without Caitlin. But you always like the obscure bonus picks here, Kevin.
Yes, I do.
It's the PWHL, the Professional Women's Hockey League.
Why?
And
Didn't see it coming.
Montreal are actually in the finals, and they're one win away from winning. I don't know if they're going to win the Stanley Cup, but I think they're going to win the PWHL Cup. They're up 2-1 on Ottawa. Games in Ottawa tonight, doesn't matter. Give me the Victoire de Montreal, -130.
I think I'm going to add, which is just incredible that you have that. But again, nobody other than Gabriel Morency. I think I'm going to do
and over 3.5. The total's only 3.5.
Okay.
Over 3.5.
Aaliyah Boston under points, rebounds, and assists. This thing's way too jacked up with the Caitlin absence. We're going to go
I got a lot of
under
clicking to do now,
Aaliyah
too.
Boston.
I got to click quickly here.
Wednesday on the Sports Grid Network here. No better place to be. The early